Chapter 7 revolves very specifically around the idea of writing paragraphs, which I think is so absolutely critical to your success in this course. If you can write a successful paragraph, you will absolutely be able to translate that into an essay. It may not be the easiest thing to do, but all of the main components are there if you've got a solid paragraph. So you want to begin this with a clear and concise topic sentence. Now we're going to be throwing around these words all semester. So topic sentence is the first sentence that begins usually a body paragraph. If you're only writing one paragraph, you only have one body paragraph. In the context of an essay, a topic sentence would be in the second through maybe fifth or sixth paragraph of your essay, not the introduction or the conclusion. When you translate this into an essay, the topic sentence will become the thesis idea, and we're going to talk about how you're going to place your thesis as we go through the course. You have to support the ideas within your paragraph as well as create unity among them, right? You want them to flow together and it has to make sense. It has to be coherent. There are some examples of transitions on pages 77 to 80 of your text. You can also go online and find a lot of different examples of transitions. I'm going to encourage you this semester not just to use single word transitions, but also to use thematic transitions, to use transitions within your sentences and between ideas. There are lots of typical constructions of paragraphs, and they give you several examples in your textbooks. And I think that's valuable because it gives you an opportunity to see what other people have done within these different modes. You will be writing in a lot of these modes, as I'm sure you reflected from the syllabus. Also, when you are writing an actual essay, we're going to start with an introduction paragraph. But again, when you're just writing a paragraph, you just need to start with that topic sentence. Chapter 45 is about choosing words, and I think this is such an important chapter, and it seems like more recently this has become more of an issue because a lot of times your formal word choice or your diction is not creating a formalized tone that you're looking for, which is what you want to convey in your college writing. So be very careful with which words you select and why you've selected them. You want to have some reason for putting that word in. Additionally, another thing that I've noticed recently is that some people, they'll write in their own language like they would speak, and then when they go back through, they'll click like the computer synonym, and you'll end up tossing in words sometimes that don't make sense, right? So you definitely want to try and avoid that as well. You want your writing to be authentic to you, but you also want it to be sophisticated and formalized, and I think it can be both. Chapter 46 is really hard for me to give you any kind of lecture on just because it's really about what you need help with. I am a terrible speller, personally, and I know this about myself, right? I doubt almost everything that I spell, and I know the rules, I try to apply them, but I have to go back every single time I write something and make sure that I didn't misspell something. And honestly, spell check doesn't always do me the best favors because it'll change one word into another word, right? So I've misspelled it to such a grand degree that it thinks I'm actually trying to spell another word. Those of you who have autocorrect, for example, on your phone, understand that sometimes the technology can be an impediment to our effective communication. So please keep that in mind. Again, as with the last point, with the choosing the correct words, a lot of these things can be corrected through careful revision, right? Through rereading your document and really considering what am I putting in and why. The last chapter that we're looking at this week is about end punctuation. And here it's very straightforward, right? You've got the period, you've got the question mark, you've got the exclamation point. The issue with some of these is how do I deal with these around other punctuation marks, such as quotation marks? How do I divide things that are references? So those are things that I don't know that you necessarily have to know the rules, point blank right now. Certainly when we get into the MLA formatting, we're going to talk more about how to integrate the end punctuation with your quotations, but certainly it's interesting to look at. The main idea that I want to drive home to you about this chapter is the idea that the exclamation mark is such an extreme emphasis that we almost never use this in college writing. Some of you may be accustomed to using the exclamation mark in your own life, all the time. You send it in a text message, it's in an email, maybe this is just how you live. You live your life like an exclamation point. And while that's great for you personally, professionally, it's not the most formal thing you can do.